am not just going to hijack this call because this person wants to ask me about faith in the military. And so being a military member, I do want to take his call. So Joshua from Georgia, he, him, you are on with Jimmy and Jamie. And what is it you want to talk about today?
Hello, Jamie. Hello, Jimmy. Just
Hello.
a real quick question. I have worked with the military, never for Uncle Sam, but some of the complaints that I used to hear when I used to do a lot of work with different enlisted was that it typically was whenever you were in a severe situation, to get counseling, you were handed a chaplain as opposed to, a more, we'll say, professionally oriented someone that could help you through that traumatic situation. And so that's where I was kind of was curious as to, Jimmy, based on how long you've been in, have you sort of seen the change to where now they've focused on less of an idea of religion addressing enlisted concerns and more of an actual professional resource towards this type of situation?
Well, I appreciate that you have called and asked me about this because I've kind of wanted to talk about this. First of all, I think as far as you talking about have I seen the change, well, I can tell you that after about a decade and a half roughly of serving, I am in a very different military than when I joined. I am in one that is no longer under the don't ask, don't tell policy. I am in one that has transgender people, transgender military members ready to fight, ready to do their job. And I am very proud of that. So I have seen a great deal of progression in the military over my time. And I couldn't be happier that the military is more interested in people's minds than what they look like. And that is absolutely true. And I say that because I like to dispel this age-old stereotype that we are just some kind of some right-wing conservative arm, that we reflect one single time of thinking. And not to say that there aren't people who see things more conservatively than others, but there's everybody. There's everybody all over, and people come. We have people that are born in different countries that are serving, that are proud to be American. We've got people of different gender, faith, you name it. So I'm happy to serve with all of them. Now, as far as the chaplains go, I think actually, and I mean as recently as a few weeks, I'm kind of turning the corner on where I see chaplains. So excuse me, forgive me if you will, but I am not as opposed to having chaplains in the military as I once was. Now, of course, I used to equate it with an abuse of constitutionality, if you will. It is not constitutional to endorse a religion. And having people that represent a religion serving in uniform and get paid for military, get paid as a military member, but also be paid to serve in a faith role, I thought was unconstitutional for the longest time. And I could still probably make an argument to why it is. However, I have seen chaplains, let's say of a Christian background, for example, go way out of their way to accommodate Muslim people, atheist people. And there is something to be said about the fact that, they aren't so concerned about representing their religion as much as they are doing their job. And I think that's a great thing about people in the military, because they want to do their job. They want to be successful at their mission. That's what makes the military so effective. And that's what you need. So even if I have a chaplain who believes in Christianity or adheres to it and believes in its God and its deities, and I say deities because I still think it's somewhat polytheistic, although there's a central power. You've got all these, saints and stuff like that. But in any case, if there's somebody that adheres to that, but they are willing to go out of their way to make sure that I have what I need, I'm okay with that. Now, that also causes them to learn about me. That also causes them to learn about the Muslim or the Hindu or the Buddhist, right? They have to interact with people that are different from them, and they have to walk away having had a new experience that they otherwise might not have. And I think that can actually be beneficial to dilute this kind of dogmatic thinking if that is something that is prevalent in their worldview. I've kind of rambled a little bit. I think I answered your question. I think I got my thoughts out. I want to ask Jamie if he has any thoughts on what I just said, and then Joshua, we'll get your thoughts.
Only two, because I have no experience in the military. I never served, and I don't know many people personally, other than those I've met through things like the ACA who have. But I would actually push back slightly by saying that while I trust Jimmy in saying that these chaplains are doing their absolute best to accommodate people and to fulfill their role as people of comfort, I would say that a properly trained mental health officer that has had secular training, proper mental health training, in the same way as like a corpsman or a medical personnel has had, completely divorced from any kind of religious teaching, would be a better option, because they would come at it from a fact-based and science-based standpoint of mental health. That's my only real pushback. And the only other thing that's been rattling around in my head is that the British Armed Forces are technically a holy army, because the head of state is also the head of the church and the commander-in-chief of the military. So, very weird.
Wow. Yeah. Actually, Joshua, real quick, I just want to inject something. So, Jamie, not really a pushback per se, because I agree with you. I would much rather have my situation handled by a well-trained mental health professional, and the military offers things like military family life counselors. We have mental health personnel in the military. We've got sources like Military One Source that we can look up and find different avenues to getting help, whether it's through family counseling or whether it is through, I don't know, suicide prevention. There is a plethora of avenues you could go down. But having the chaplain, if I had no other resource, I'd at least give it a shot. Joshua, what do you think?
Yeah, I appreciate both of your words. One thing I would say is that a lot of the people I used to work with and dealt with were, this was in early 2000s. So we're even now, in comparison to then, are completely different military. So in looking back towards that, we had people who had done even Operation Upholding Democracy, that type of thing, and then doing 2 tours in Iraq and 2 tours in Afghanistan. So, the old mindset was still sort of there. But now I would say I agree with you that the chaplain, quote unquote, is no longer it's less of a religious, is more of a heavy amount of training and being able to deliver, support as needed within the situations that they're given.
Yeah, and they're not supposed to proselytize, right? And if they did, I would be the first person to speak up about it. I would report an abuse of authority, and I would report that a rule was broken. But what I don't want to see now, there are other precedents, right? The chaplaincy has created a precedent that has actually benefited people in the military recently, and I'll explain. The chaplains are put in place because people serve in the military and they're moved all over the country, all over the world, and by that notion are taken away from any regular access to their religious resources that they would otherwise have. If they're in their hometown, they know where their church is, their pastor is, and they can find the religious guidance that they need. So the military provides guidance for those people. Now, we have also seen that take place for military members who are stationed in a state or country that does not allow abortion. The military will cover their travel to take them to a place where they can get an abortion. And if we make the argument that the chaplaincy should not be a part of the military, we put ourselves in danger of taking other programs away that are established for the same reasons. And that I don't want to see, because I do believe in the right of a woman to have autonomy over her own body. And she should be able to choose, whether she continues with a pregnancy or not. And if the military, based on the same rules that are established by the chaplaincy, is willing to honor that, I say it's a win. So that's my final thought on that. I think, Joshua, I've gotten everything off my chest I need. What do you have for me?
Oh, nothing. Listening to you both over the past year or so, you've been doing a great job, and I look forward to see you on more episodes. And also
I really appreciate
in the
that.
ACD.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. And if you're around, stick around and join us in the Discord after show. But yeah, what a great call. Always happy to give my expertise, if that's what you can even call it. I don't want to confuse anybody. I am not here as a representative of the government or the military or the armed forces at all. My facts or my facts, my thoughts and opinions are my own. They may not be facts, but they do belong to me. But I am very proud of what I do. So I'm just going to cut it off there. I don't want anybody to think that, because I have some disagreements with the military in some ways, that it's somehow a negative organization where I view it negatively.